If you're thinking about moving to Winston-Salem, North Carolina in 2026, this video is going to help you decide if it's actually the right move for you. I'm breaking down the real pros and cons of living here, what people love, what catches them off guard, and what you need to know before you make that decision. And make sure you stick around to the middle, because I'm going to share one thing that most people overlook when moving here, and it could completely change how you feel about this city. My name is Keon with Real Broker LLC. I live here, I work here, I help people buy and sell homes right here in the Triad. And I'm not here just to sell you a dream. I'm here to give you the full picture so you can make the right decision for you and your family. So whether you're making a move in 9 days or 9 months, feel free to reach out. I'm receiving calls and texts every day, and I love it. My contact information is in the description box, and I'm easy to reach. First off, one of the biggest reasons that people are moving to Winston-Salem right now is the affordability. Compared to larger cities like Charlotte, Raleigh, or really anywhere northeast or out west, your dollar stretches a lot further here. I'm talking about being able to get a solid single-family home, sometimes even new construction, at a price point that will be unheard of in other markets. And even with prices increasing over the past few years, Winston is still considered affordable relative to what you're getting. But let me be real with you. While it is affordable, it's not as cheap as it used to be. A lot of people hear North Carolina and they think they're about to get a steal. And that's not always the case anymore. Prices have gone up, rent has gone up, and if you're coming from a smaller market, you might actually feel like things are a little more expensive than expected. So yes, affordability is a pro, but it comes with a little asterisk. Another thing that people love about Winston-Salem is the pace of life. It's slower, it's more relaxed, and for a lot of people, it's exactly what they're looking for. You're not dealing with crazy traffic like you would in Atlanta or DC, and getting from one side of town to the other is usually pretty manageable. That's a big win if you value your time and your peace. But on the flip side, that slower pace can feel a little too slow depending on your lifestyle. If you're someone who used to constant movement, nightlife, or a city that never sleeps, Winston might feel quiet. And I've had clients that straight up tell me it took a little adjusting. So it really comes down to what stage of life you're in and what kind of energy you're looking for. Now let's talk about location, because this is one of Winston-Salem's strongest advantages. You're right in the middle of the Triad, which means you got Greensboro about 30 minutes away, High Point is right there, and even Charlotte is only an hour and 10 minutes away. Raleigh, maybe an hour and a half. So if you want access to bigger city amenities without living in the chaos, Winston gives you that balance. At the same time though, you're still gonna find yourself driving if you want certain experiences. There are things here, but not everything. So if you're used to having everything about 10 to 15 minutes away, that's something that you're gonna have to keep in mind. Another pro, and this is a big one, is the sense of community. Winston-Salem has a very grounded, down-to-earth feel. People speak when you walk past them, neighbors actually know each other, and there's a level of connection here that you don't always get in bigger cities. And for a lot of people relocating, especially families, that's huge. But let's keep it real. Not every neighborhood is created equal. There are some areas that feel more connected, more vibrant, and then there's others that might not give you that same energy. That's why it's important to really understand where you're buying and not just the city as a whole. Now let's get into the job market. Winston-Salem has some strong industries here. We have healthcare, education, logistics, and companies like Wake Forest Baptist Health and others that bring stability to the area. So if you're in those fields, you're in a good position. But if you're coming here and expecting a booming corporate scene like Charlotte or Raleigh, you might be a little disappointed. I mean, the job market here is solid, but it's not explosive. A lot of people moving here are either remote workers, entrepreneurs, or they already have something lined up before they even get here. Now this next part, this is the part I told you to stick around for, because people don't think about this enough when they're moving. Winston-Salem is growing, but it's still developing. And what I mean by that is, you're gonna see a lot of potential here. New construction popping up, areas being revitalized, and new businesses coming in. But at the same time, there are some parts of the city that are still catching up. So depending on where you land, your experience, can be very different. Some people move here and they feel like they got in early on a city that's on the rise. Others may move here and feel like, okay, this isn't as developed as I was expecting. It's not a good or a bad thing. It just depends on your expectations. Another pro is the cost of living overall. Not just the housing, but things like groceries, gas, and even property taxes are relatively reasonable. You can live a comfortable lifestyle here without feeling stretched too thin, especially if you're coming from a higher cost area. I recently posted a whole video on the cost of living if you want to check it out. But again, don't get it twisted. Just because it's more affordable doesn't mean you can just come here without having a plan. I've seen people move here thinking that they're going to save money, but without proper budgeting, they end up right in the same financial situation. Let's talk about the weather for a sec. You get all 4 seasons here, sometimes all in the same week. Some people love it, some people hate it. The winters here are generally mild. You may get some snow here or there, but the summers, they can get humid. That southern humidity is real. If you're not used to it, it may take some adjusting, but the climate here is usually balanced. Now, another underrated pro is the access to outdoor activities. You've got parks, trails, lakes, and you're not too far from the mountains. So if you're someone who likes to get outside, stay active, or just enjoy nature, Winston-Salem gives you a lot of options. At the same time, if you're more into high-end entertainment, luxury shopping, or big city experiences, you may find yourself traveling to Charlotte or Raleigh more often than you like. And then there's real estate. And that's where I come in. The opportunities here are still strong. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, someone relocating, or even an investor, there's still room to make smart decisions. But the key word is smart. Because not every deal is a good deal. And not every neighborhood is moving in the same direction. That's why working with someone who actually knows the area. Not just the listings, but the trends, the growth, and the pockets that are up and coming, that makes all the difference. And I'll say this, Winston-Salem is one of those cities where if you make the right move, you can look back 3 to 5 years from now and be very glad that you did. But if you make the wrong move, you'll feel it. So if you're thinking about moving here, buying a home, or even investing, don't try to figure it out on your own. Reach out to me. Call me, text me, whatever's easiest for you. I'll walk you through exactly what makes sense for your situation so we can move with confidence. And if this video helped you out, even a little bit, then tap that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Because I'm gonna keep showing up with content that helps people just like you become confident, educated homeowners. I've got more deep dives coming, whether you're buying, selling, or just learning. And make sure you watch this video, as it will help you with your home search. And when you're ready to make that move, just remember, Keon has the keys. I'll see you in the next one.